The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question to begin with. I'm sorry. Do you want to? What song do you first remember that made you want to do music?
Alice in Chains, Man in the Box.
I don't know if it was the first song that made me go into music. I remember when I kind of fell in love with music. I was like probably 10, and I was on my paper route, and I found a record in a puddle in the rain. And it was John Cougar Mellencamp, and I went back home, put on my mom's record player, and my sisters and I danced around it. It was really fun. So I was like, this is awesome.
I can't say what my song I made me want to first do music. All I know is when I was 3 or 4, my mom asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I said, I want to be a composer.
You said poser.
Composer.
Come.
And that's when you thought I was a trash man? Like composter.
But I do know my first musical memory is Help from the Beatles. My mom still has that record. It's a Japanese pressing of the record. And yeah, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I was listening to this I was a fetus.
Paul McCartney's going to be.
Oh yeah, I've seen him perform solo before. It's pretty awesome. Actually, I took my mom to go see him when he was on tour in 2005.
So really, he's a mama's boy.
That's where I am.
I think just the whole Origin of Symmetry by Muse's album just made me want to do it.
I can't really think of any particular song. Like Ty, it's just as long as I could remember. There's like family home footage of me playing guitar when I was like 2 for the camera, pretending I was on stage. But I guess maybe some of my first records that I could think of were from the Rolling Stones, because my dad had a vinyl collection and I would listen to that. But I don't really know if there's any like one song that sticks out.
Yeah, I used to listen to my dad's Ventures records and like listen to like Wipeout, and it made me really fascinated with the drums, and so I knew from really early age that I wanted to play the drums.
Hey, you play the drums?
Your dad must have been a cool cat listening to Ventures.
Hell yeah.
What is the how when you guys are touring? How would you describe like sort of the atmosphere when you're just like on the bus?
Stinky.
That's your upper list.
Are you guys like relate to each other as like a family, or
Very much
Family
like a
for sure,
family. We're
yeah.
like brothers. You know, we love each other, but we also fight and
there's a lot of
Duke it
punching
out.
and
Yeah.
hugging?
and sharing food and
More
stealing
posturing
and
and shit talking and hugging. We've never actually thrown blows. I've punched and broken a van door once, but that's about it.
Oh, you broke a window too.
yeah.
Kick the window.
Oh,
Kicked
kick
open
the
the
window
window.
Is that
out
what
of
happened to your bus? Did you punch it?
Well, that was
Yeah.
That was the van.
our vans.
No, but we get in arguments. We get on each other's nerves. It's just like if you're cooped up with 6 dudes, 6 sweaty, smelly dudes for any more than 2 weeks, you're going to get on each other's nerves. But we're really good at realizing that, okay, he needs a little space, and it blows over pretty much usually.
We listen to each other when a lot when we're there, and it's cool because we get to know each other more, because we all have our daily lives when we're not doing this, and our tour is when we kind of really do a lot of bonding.
And as far as being a family, that's definitely true. We're definitely a family, but we also see it as a team. So we work together really well. Like when we do conventions, we make sure we're all working hard and passing out flyers, and someone needs a break, someone else steps up and does it.
Yeah.
So we do it as a team, as a franchise a lot too. But we know the bottom line is we want to make money so we can keep doing this, keeping this monster alive and feeding it. So we know we need to make money, we need to get each other's backs, and we need to have a good time. So if we get all 3 of those done, we're doing well.
And we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you see the paper airplane I made? That was awesome.
We also have a love of food, and so we, spend a lot of time eating and trying new foods together all over the country, all over the world, for that matter.
Is there a particular restaurant at some place when you're touring that you have to stop at, like that's a mom and pop place? Or
We've got a lot of those.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's usually just the regional food, like something that's just special to the area. I mean, there's like a few favorites that we go to like whenever we're on tour. For example, we're in New York, we always hit up Vanessa's Dumplings in Chinatown. We're in Salt
I
Lake
think he
City,
actually
we get
books the club
Crown
across the
Burger.
street on purpose just because it's there.
This club is horrible.
Fontana's is great.
Fontana's is we played there.
Yeah.
No, it's a nice place. Yeah, I mean,
He was joking.
yeah, there's a few different places that we do love. I mean, I would say one of my favorite things is going to San Diego because my parents are there, and they make us all kinds of food, and it's just nice to have a home cooked meal on the road and not just have like, pizza and beer or something like that.
We also love fogo de chao, and we don't have one where we live, so
Brazil grill.
yeah, when
We come
we're
around with the big old cut off pieces of meat
He
for
knows what
you.
we're talking about.
Freaking love those houses.
yeah,
And we found the best one in the nation, Fogo de Chao.
yeah,
What's it called?
fogo de chao.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have a couple of them around the country. Like San Antonio has one. Where else has one?
Houston,
Isn't
LA, New York,
Austin.
Kansas City.
I mean, it's a big
Austin.
chain, so they're
I should be
on.
able to Google it.
Yeah,
It's like
definitely.
fun.
Yeah.
If you look up Brazilian Grill, it's one of the first ones that come up.
I think there's one in Phoenix.
I'm making a crane. Yeah. I usually when I fly, I make one and just to do and it relaxes me, and I usually give one to the
Sky captain.
not the sky captain. I say stewardess, but they don't like being called stewardess.
Flight
anymore.
attendant.
Flight attendants, yes. I give one to the flight
Oh, I saw that
attendants.
guy, our male flight attendant. He was happy. He was like,
I actually didn't give one at all this time around, so I'm
Oh,
like,
so you didn't like
He
it?
was happy.
I see how
anyway.
well, it has nothing to do with that. It has more to just do with like I haven't. So
Write
like
that
all of a
down.
sudden my hands.
Lie is sexist.
Yeah.
So now that I've gotten a chance to sit down, my hands want to do it. I am paying completely
Your hands
attention
need
to that.
busy work. I can help you out with that.
Hey, this is a PG press
No, I got in a
On
car.
your
I got in a car accident recently. I needed a back massage. Gosh, you guys grossest, gayest level. I mean, it
We
doesn't
all
have to
know
always
what you
be. Yeah. Neck massage. Six inch
I
neck.
actually fixed somebody's. We were sitting at a restaurant, and this girl that I didn't even know was sitting at the table with us. That was with my friend, and she had a crick in her neck or something, and I fixed it in like 10 minutes.
Oh, hey, there you go. Talk to
Seriously, sitting
Aaron
at the
afterward.
restaurant. And it wasn't even. I was like, we're just sitting in this restaurant. I'm massaging her shoulders and her neck, and she like was fine after that. But everybody kept looking at me funny.
It's because they wanted you to go and fix it. They're like,
Probably.
Yeah.
I was interviewing people, and I was actually judging a competition. I know I'm going off topic, but well, no, he brought up massage. I'm not. But I was judging a singing competition, and I was giving this guy that was one of the judges a back massage outside, like, and everybody's just lining up. I'm like, like I don't even care if I win the competition. That's what's gonna happen. But, so, could you introduce yourselves and tell me what you play?
Sure, I play the bass. My name's Simon. Simon, I play bass.
His bass.
Yes.
My name is Drums. I'm Tyler. I play the drums and sing backup vocals.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi.
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 And I'm the lead singer.
I'm Ty. I play keyboards and guitar.
and I'm Will, and I play lead guitar.
So I seem to recall was this the last time you were at MTAC there was some fire breathing? Is that...
Off the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, there wasn't any... As I recall, the last time you were at MTAC there was no fire breathing. Nevertheless, are you surprised that you were invited back?
Well, did I get in trouble? Not get in trouble for that? The non-fire breathing?
If you don't know about it, you didn't get in trouble.
Yeah, I didn't get in trouble for it. I actually need to see if you... Hey, Ribbit, can you see if I can be fired tomorrow?
You can't.
Sure.
We've already been asking for
Take
a
your
couple
shirt off
months.
and run around a little bit and
Okay.
punch a 3-year-old.
Oh, nice, okay.
You said fire, right?
Yeah,
Oh, not
Fire.
jail. Fired.
Fire. Breathe fire.
Fire.
Yeah, what was your real question about it?
I don't remember.
Oh, I was surprised when you asked back.
That was entertaining enough, right?
You want to get fired. I was like, sure, that's easy. I'll get you in jail. I'll get you fired. Okay, no, if you want to do fire breathing, they said no.
Okay, thank you.
I can't
But if you don't want to do it, then you can do it.
Nice. Okay,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
not.
You're welcome for that.
Don't not do it.
So, how would you describe one of your shows? Since I just heard that, so I'd like to know what we would see.
They're hot.
A lot of energy. We don't stay in one place for more than a second. We're all over the stage.
I do because I play the drums, but they don't.
We didn't
It's
need
very
to talk
high
to you
You
about
should try
that.
being more active.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I mean, I move all over the place,
We
but
put
I
your drums
stay in
on
one.
wheels.
Yeah. One
It's a
spot.
pretty high energy show.
Stick the drums up on an amp.
Sounds like
We
it.
jump
Yeah.
around a lot, run around, run into each other.
There's a lot of connecting with the audience there,
Yeah.
which is really great. A lot of interaction because there's always that boundary that people never cross, but come across that quite often. Just fun. Because it scares them. It's like, oh my God, somebody's actually trying to communicate with me.
I think a lot of people say that they can tell we're having a good time on stage, and it translates to the crowd too. The crowd has a good time because we have a good time, and everybody has a good time.
Good times.
And we strive to put on the same type of show regardless of where we're at. If we're in a bar where there's like a bartender and the other band's parents, we still put on the same show as we would at MTAC on a large stage in front of a couple thousand people. So.
There have been, over the last several years, there have been a few, lineup changes.
Mm-hmm.
What's sort of the assimilation period like, both, for the people that were already in the band to get used to the new guys, and the new guys to get used to the established members?
It's like learning to swim by getting thrown into a lake.
Some people are good. I mean, I think we had one practice, and this is my 7th show, so
yeah,
I get it.
I mean, for us, it's nice because usually the people that come into the band are people we already know and get along with. And that's a really, really important thing for us, is that you can hang with the band. Because if we don't get along, then we don't want to tour with them. The other thing is kind of like Will mentioned, we don't practice a lot. Like we practiced, I think less than 4 or 5 times last year. Maybe 4 or 5 times a year before that too.
That includes writing an album.
Yeah, so it's so it's really important that whoever steps in is really experienced, can play their instrument, is committed, and can gel with us on stage right away. And so we take a lot of time out when we're kind of deciding who we like to join the band. But yeah, it's been really good. Even with all the lineup changes, at least me, Tyler, and Aaron we've been doing this for 4 years in a row. So there's at least been this kind of steady core. And before that, our guitar player Johnny had been in the band since the very beginning, pretty much.
What about from your angle? He said, how is it going being a newcomer? Not you. Being a newcomer. Well, I guess you're a newcomer.
Well, the new guys smell wore off.
Well, I've been in the band 2 years, and I joined the band literally a month before we played MTAC 2 years ago. So it was they asked me to join the band. I'm like, sure, okay. Well, we're going on tour in a few weeks. All right, so I got to learn my parts, and then we went on tour. I think the first night we did a show. We played a song I'd never practiced with them before, and I think at some point Simon's like, okay, these are the chords. I'm like, all right, and try to figure it out. I'd listen to it.
So that's going to happen to you once?
No, I'm not talking
about like 7 shows in a row.
I'm talking about the first time.
It's like, okay, new song? All right, we haven't worked on this one yet. We'll figure it out. Just look, there's a lot to be said about that. You do learn a lot about really focusing on the performance, because if you're starting to really look horrible, just look your hair really hard, and it looks okay, and people forgive you.
You should flip your hair really hard.
You're right. What happened?
Lift it up.
My toupee. Oh my God.
What quote, phrase, or song best describes your band? Anybody's quote, phrase, or song?
Chinatown Dance Truck.
Chinatown
Dance Truck.
I thought you said Chinatown dump truck.
That too. That's
A
mine.
little melting pot.
That's one of your songs?
Kind of like.
No.
It's just a phrase we've been using since the beginning to describe the music. Because the Chinatown of any city generally represents kind of the place where a lot of Southeast Asian immigrants kind of come together. And the reason why we kind of like this Pan-Asian band is because we often face the same struggles and stereotypes and difficulties as one another. And so Chinatown kind of represents that shared Asian American heritage. And then dance rock, because that's the kind of music we play.
That quote's the reason I asked that question, by the way.
Oh,
Cool. Awesome.
So,
We got you.
got me. Charities. Do you guys have any charities that you are really close to?
Several.
several. I mean, our band is, as members, individually as well as together, we've raised over $1 million for charity in the last 4 years. We're actually starting our own nonprofit organization. Just recently, we raised close to $20,000 for liberty in North Korea, and we raised enough money to rescue an entire family of North Korean refugees. We help promote it, and our efforts help lead them to a feature on Anderson Cooper and on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and then one of their refugees went and spoke at the TED conference. So, it's a big part of what we do. We dedicated 100% of the profits from our second album to helping Asian American women with battling cancer. Just at MTAC, we're donating a ton of stuff for autism. Any number of charities. It's really, really important for us.
My magazines give a little Nashville, and it's all about the charities and how celebrities
Awesome.
impact. So
Nice.
that's why I asked that question.
Cool.
Because that's my heart.
Nice.
We're there.
What's the latest in the trademark issue?
Well, right now we're in an appeals court. I guess if you're not familiar with it, our band's been fighting the U.S. Trademark Office for the last several years over the right to protect our name. They claim our name's offensive towards Asians. Obviously, we're Asian, so that doesn't exactly work. And we've been fighting with them for quite a while. We actually had to start over, and we decided to scrap our original case and file a new one, and to try and tackle it from a different angle. And we just kept asking them, like, slant means a lot of different things. It could be a skewed perspective and a crooked line or all these other things. Why are you assuming that it's a racial slur when it's our band? And finally, they said it was because we were Asian American. In other words, anybody in the world can trademark slant as long as they're not Asian. So for us to be rejected specifically based on our race, we're basically calling them out on the racism part.
That's BS.
So it's been a long fight. And originally they used UrbanDictionary.com, AsianJokes.com, and these really awful anonymous message boards. We sent them over 3,000 pages of evidence from Asian American leaders across the country. We did two national surveys. Editor at the Oxford Dictionary wrote this 70-page report about the word. Advisors on President Obama's board wrote testimonials about us, and they still rejected it, saying, well, look, these wiki sources say that some people think your name's offensive. So
wiki,
yeah. So it's been a little bit of a battle, but
it's 3 years.
We're still at it.
That didn't even the slants. That didn't even occur to me. That just
Sure.
Didn't even.
It's an outdated term,
Yeah, more than anything else, a lot of Asian Americans actually use it as a term of empowerment and of pride.
Yeah, there's already the Slanted Screen, which is Asian American movie group, and
there's the Slant Film Festival, is the second biggest Asian American film festival in the world, and Houston, Texas, they've been doing it for 15 years, and not once did they receive a single complaint. Not to mention, it's kind of just straight up racist to make a decision based on somebody's race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck on that. I'm sure you'll probably wind up winning if you complain enough.
I think we should change our name to the Oregon Yellowskins.
It does have a ring to it. Not really good.
Or the Washington Yellowskins.
Yes.
I'm going to ask a question about every band I talk to, because I used to work for a radio station a long time ago.
Cool.
It doesn't matter what genre it is, it doesn't. When you guys come up with lyrics and things like that, being there's obviously a whole group, is this a group conglomeration that lyrics come together, or is it, you're sitting home one night and you're like, having a bad night, here's the song, blah, 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 can we put music to it, and, how does it work for you when you put music together? Because that's one of the hardest things I find.
There's a bunch of different things in that question. As far as the lyrics go, I do all the lyrics unless I am in a bind and need help, and then I'll ask somebody to do lyrics for a certain song. Our songwriting process is a lot different from the old punk rock days when we were my punk rock bands. We do it all by Google or Dropbox. Because we're in different cities.
Yeah.
So Simon and our old guitar player Johnny would come up with some guitar hooks and then put it in the Dropbox, and then I get that, and I'd listen to it for a melody hook, a vocal hook, and then it'd take me, maybe I'd be jogging and I'd hear it in my headphones and I'd sing it on my phone while I stopped jogging, or I'd sit in the basement, drink a bunch of wine, and listen to it over and over and over, and then I'd record it, send it back out to everybody, and then they would judge me kind of like American Idol, like that's
Yeah. Number one was
Yeah, so I'd sit like
Pitchy dog.
excellent.
Pitchy dog.
Yeah.
you can sing the phone book, dog. Which I can't, but I can't spell. But anyways, so it's a lot different process now. So it takes a different shape. It takes shape slowly with different layers and via the internet. We don't even write songs in practice anymore. We just do it that way.
Yeah. And so then we, by the time we've composed a song, we have basically rough, mixes that we can put them together and say, okay, would this make a strong album? This last album we had about 20 songs, and we put together a kind of a focus group of our closest friends, family, and fans, and
people in the industry too,
and several people in the industry, as well as the mastering engineer that was going to be mastering the album, and we basically had them rank songs with different criteria, and we looked at that and basically went by the numbers and chose the 12
Top 13 songs.
13 songs.
I mean, it's basically like a songwriting contest, except we wrote every song. And we just picked, the songs that people like the most.
It's very rare we do the lyrics first. It's usually the music first and the lyrics, but sometimes they'll come up with a hook that works well with whatever they've gotten, and we wrote music around that too. So usually it's music first.
Always. That's typically the answer I get from everybody. It's very interesting to see different people's music, how it comes about, because obviously as you get larger, you start getting lyricists to send you stuff, and then you're just singing, and then there are still people who still write their lyrics on their own, and you're just, adding music to it, and to hear, music first is kind of a, it's different, but
I like taking it on that way because I get to hear what they're doing with the music, and it has a certain vibe or feeling to it. The mood in the song, that hasn't had any lyrics to it, but you can hear a mood in what the instruments are saying. And then I can take that and write what I feel out of that.
Yeah, and it's also different because we're not in the same room at the same time when we're writing songs.
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Is how difficult is that with different schedules and different places geographically?
I actually, even though we have kind of a non-traditional approach to songwriting, I really like it because it allows us time to develop a lot of different parts in the song, try them out. It's almost like as if we're a studio band in many ways, that we're just cranking songs out as songwriters and sending them back and forth, and each person kind of adds their own spin to it somewhere in the production line. So,
and we do all of our own engineering on the album, so we record in our own respective home studios.
Right.
Yeah, so it's, I like it. It's fun. And we have a pretty good idea of what songs are going to be like before we hit the studio, and it's actually kind of funny because oftentimes we won't even know how to play the songs when an album comes out. We'll have to listen to the album a bunch and learn our own songs.
All right, play it over again.
Yeah.
It does seem that everybody's pretty objective on it. I'm still new to their songwriting process, but everybody is very objective in the whole process. And even when they're sending back and forth songs, I'm like, well, if we can't just step in there feeling like, oh, I wrote this part, it's my part. It's like, well, that's the idea, and as long as I can add to the idea, then I have a point to go and add. If I don't, then just stay quiet and let the true meaning of the song shine through.
What's the application of choice for you guys as far as Mac, PC? I know different music editors tend to stick with Macs.
Yeah, it's got to be Mac.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Except his Mac crashes on stage a lot.
Nice.
But
It doesn't work.
we were using my MacBook Pro as the live, laptop, but I have too many audio drivers with, Pro Tools running and several other audio programs. And Ableton stopped working.
I was going to say, I've seen some bands where they'll start using 2 and 3 computers because of that
exactly.
exact reason.
Yeah.
And you're having to control so much. It's like, look, I'm going to have to split this off into
Exactly.
this.
Yeah.
And so your bands start having what I like to call the DJ on the side. You've got 3 MacBooks and you're sitting there trying to do so much.
Exactly.
You got so much music happening.
So.
Interesting enough, in this last album, because it was the first album I was involved with in the band. They used Pro Tools. I lived in a completely different city, and I don't know how to use Pro Tools.
Actually,
so
someone used Ableton.
Oh, you use it? Okay. He
used Ableton, Reason.
He used Ableton, Reason, a lot of for the synths, and he used Pro Tools for everything. I used GarageBand, and because I don't really know how to use Pro Tools, but it worked out anyways.
I was gonna say GarageBand is an extension of Pro Tools. You can move into it. It's not much
Are you
different.
familiar with this program?
Yes.
So, I want to make sure.
And really, regardless of whatever they're using, you can export some type of file that can be read by the other programs as long as it's keeping the fidelity. And
When you guys go to shows, you've got super fans. You've got, she didn't even know. You guys got super fans. You've got people that have never been. They say, I'm only here because my friend told me you guys are great, so I don't know what's going to happen. How do you guys accept everybody? Because it's a different crowd every time. I mean, music is a very tough thing when you've got, a wide base of people coming. Do you guys just go out there and just rock it and see what happens and hope for the best, or it's different for everybody.
We know we put on a good show, so we don't.
It is pretty true.
Yeah.
There's rarely any naysayers after our show, and like we just played Zinc Icon, and this girl came up to me, she's like, because we work hard during the day to promote our shows. That's one thing that we bring to conventions. A lot of bands don't do. We hit the pavement and pass out flyers all day long. We have 2,000 of them.
Wait, that's what we got now.
And so we get kids to go. And this one girl came up to us after the show last time. She's like, I wasn't going to go, and you accidentally gave me 2 flyers because I walked by twice. And then I saw the flyer before your show, and I decided to go just because you gave us a flyer. And I think this is the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Awesome.
She said the best time she's ever had in her life ever. She's about 14 years old. That's even cooler than, Christmas.
I'm gonna say, 'cause that was kind of leading into my next question was, how do you guys get the word out other than hitting the pavement? Because obviously I heard you guys whenever you walk in the first time you're saying, let's go pass out more flyers.
Yeah.
But do you guys use social media?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have, between all of our social media accounts and mailing lists, about 60,000 followers, so we're really active on it. We answer every single email, every single tweet, Facebook comment, YouTube comment personally. We have like a live running Q&A on our website where people can email at any time and ask whatever they want, and we answer it, sometimes in video form and sometimes we type it out. So it's really big for us, and I do social media for a living, so I'm used to running the
Simon is a guru in social media.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys as well. So it's interesting because bands who came up through MySpace, and I'm thinking of what starts with an H. Nobody. MySpace band came up. Okay, can't think of. What's the second letter? I want to say it's Hurt, but it's not Hurt because that's a Iranian band or something. But anyway, that's what my question is how else do you do? Because hitting the pavement obviously worked. So
well, it works at conventions. I mean, it doesn't work when we're on tour in the middle of Oklahoma City or something.
Yeah.
But we also have a publicist, and he works a lot of the media contacts, and gets a ton of great coverage for us. So that definitely helps a lot. But I mean, I would say the best things that we get is from fans who are just really energetic and enthusiastic about the band. They become the voice of the band, and they're the best recruiters or street team or that kind of thing, because really we can say how great we are and people might believe us or might not believe us, but when a good friend of theirs or their sibling says, hey, you got to check this band out, there's a lot more credibility to that. And so our fans just do an awesome job of that. And I mean, that's when last year we launched a Kickstarter campaign. Over half of the people that contributed to the Kickstarter never even heard of us before, but it was just because our fans all day long were tweeting people and say, hey, please share this, please retweet, check this band out. People would come look at what we had, loved it, and contributed. So I mean, that to me is just really awesome. I was really surprised by that.
It's the Kickstarter thing is blown up for a lot of music people because they're able to get their music out there because their fans are already built up, and it's just like they can make a whole album off of Kickstarter. And it's amazing. It's a wonderful tool. So.
It got us a bus.
Yeah.
Okay. Where can we find your album?
On our merch table over there.
Okay, where can people that read my article find your album?
iTunes, Amazon, Napster, most independent record stores, Best
Spotify, Pandora.
Barnes and Noble, Best Buy.
Yeah.
Of course, our website too. We'll have a little shop on the website.
But the best is over at our table.
You get a signature.
Also, out of the songs you've written on this last album, is there a particular song that has a unique story that you want to share?
Well, two actually. One about my growing up, trying to find my identity as a person because I'm adopted. So it's kind of to my mom in Vietnam, kind of like going through like identity crisis and trying to figure out who I am as a man and as a person. So that song's called Adopted. That was easy. And then went through a divorce this last year, and one's called Sour Love. So that's about my divorce. So those two are probably the more heavy, emotional ones. The other ones are all about love and.
Well, we had one song called
Love.
We have one song called Con Kids that is dedicated to convention
It's about convention
kids because they really helped us become who we are. So,
What is the nicest thing for any of you that a fan has ever said after a show?
We've had people every couple of months will say, they were just they were bullied, they're tormented in their school lives, and they just love having a safe space on our websites and our social media that they can reach out to somebody that they look up to and actually hear back from them. And I think that stuff is really cool because that's not something I don't think any of us expected would happen. Joining a band or starting a band, like you just think you're doing rock and roll, and all of a sudden you're helping save kids' lives because you're just there for them, listening when nobody else is listening. I think another cool thing that's happened is a number of times we've gotten like thank you letters from kids, like Asian American kids like us, who just said thank you because there's nobody out there. There's no Asian band playing rock and roll that's also an American band. Sure, there's a lot from overseas or anything, but there's not like really like Asian Americans out there playing rock and roll. I mean, there's always like the token player in the band, but for a group to just be out there deliberately celebrating the identity, like really kind of an in-your-face cultural thing, it's a big thing for a lot of these kids who don't have that hero. I mean, I think like for me growing up, there was like Bruce Lee who boldly challenged a lot of the notions of how Asian Americans were to be treated in this country, and I think in that same vein we hope to kind of accomplish that as well. Say, let's conquer new territories, let's break stereotypes, let's do something cool, and hopefully inspire other people to take up the fight too, and pick up instruments and play some rock and roll.
I had a young girl come to me and say, I was ashamed to be an Asian American, and then I met you guys, and I'm not ashamed anymore. That meant a lot to me. I felt really good about that.
Like we played the Oregon State Penitentiary 2 summers ago, and we were playing in front of guys with like white power tattoos and swastika tattoos and stuff, and they all came up to us afterwards and were so humble and thanked us for playing the shows and whatnot, and so to see that like what we do can kind of break that barrier, that always meant a lot to me. When a guy with a swastika tattoo asked for an autograph, he said, "Hey, can you sign this for my little girl?" It's like, that's pretty cool.
Another cool thing we did that I thought was rad, we did a USO tour last summer?
No, we spent the holidays with the troops serving overseas in Kosovo and Bosnia, and so.
Well, we spent our New Year's over there, and troops would come up and be like, I know you could do something else on New Year's. You could be home partying with your friends, but we really appreciate you came out to this ice, snow barren place and played for us.
Yeah, and drink, fake beer and fake wine.
It was a dry base.
Yeah, it was a dry base, yeah. We had never played to people who were all armed before.
We did at the prison.
Well, all of them?
Not all of them.
I mean, for like people who weren't armed.
Yeah. They all had shivs, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Razor blades on the cheeks.
Weird question.
Oh, wait, that's high school.
Okay, in prepping for a concert at a penitentiary, was there ever a moment where you thought, should I sneak in a Johnny Cash song?
Well, we played Painted Black from the Rolling Stones, but that was because we did a special thing for MTAC that same year.
Yeah, and it was already on our belt.
Yeah.
We briefly talked about the Johnny Cash thing. It's like, I bet you every band does that. Let's just do a Rolling Stones one day on the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Preparation was interesting for that show, though, because we had to list every single thing we were bringing in. So, like, as a drummer bringing in, every stand, and I mean, I have so many small pieces to
Every
my
piece
kit.
had to be-
We had to count guitar
every
picks.
cable, every drumstick. And then while we were playing, I'd break a drumstick, and the guards would run up on stage and pick him up.
Yeah, usually if he breaks a drumstick, he'll throw it out to the crowd, but that would not have been a good idea.
Yeah. They actually told me in advance, do not throw the broken drumsticks out to the crowd.
We definitely did not cover tonight. There's going to be a jailbreak, that's for sure. Took people a minute on that one. Tonight there's gonna be a jailbreak.
So who's in charge of the Slants Book Club?
Oh, that's probably me.
Probably you. Because none of us know anything about that.
Book club's not doing too well.
Well, I've been busy, but I thought it'd be fun to have a Goodreads kind of club and to read books. Like we started out with this book called Let the Right One In, which is inspiration for one of the songs in the new album, and so I started that a little bit ago. I'm still working on it.
Did you go and you see the movie?
After I finished the book, I saw both movies.
It's funny though, the song Star Trek 4 has nothing to do with Star Trek.
I saw the movies before. I actually wrote that song in particular, and then I didn't read the book until after.
Yeah, but the book is awesome.
It
It's
is
really
a good
good.
book. I've read it.
Yeah,
The movie's awesome.
yeah, I love movies.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of simple.
The movie is a very
That's not
good.
why the movie's awesome. I mean, it was awesome because the movie was awesome. I'm sure the book's better. Is that what you're getting at?
No, I was just kidding that you don't sit and read very often.
How do you know?
We spent a lot of time on that tour bus. We got to read it.
Actually, I'm on page 600 on Game of Thrones season 2.
Game of Thrones season 2.
Well, book 2, book number 2, and I haven't been able to get past 600 for like 6 months. I just don't have time.
That happens to everybody. Don't worry about it.
It's like Lord of the Rings all over again. You get Tom Bombadil and you're like, okay.
What of Game of Thrones you've read? What have you thought?
I love it. It's great. I think it's great.
Hurry up and finish it, because I want to be able to talk about this.
Okay. You want me to finish season? You want me to finish book 2?
Spoiler alert!
My
Season 3 starts.
14-year-old got me into Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I would like
starts
it.
tomorrow.
Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of experience.
I love that. Why do people watch True? Why do people watch True Blood?
Well, I actually was
People watch
talking to Ed Rolla
Softcore porn.
himself, and he was like, "Isn't that softcore porn?" I said, "Yes, it's so awesome."
I enjoy porn.
You guys all really seem to like Walking Dead, don't you guys?
And porn.
I do like Walking Dead.
But not together.
Walking Dead porn?
Zombie porn. So.
I don't think Walking Dead is as good as Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Or Downton Abbey, for that matter.
I like it.
I don't know, this season Walking Dead's been very, very
I'm caught up.
I'm not, so don't say anything.
Read the comic.
comic is great.
The comic, like, here's the TV show, here's the comic. So
Really?
you won't be missing much.
Cool.
You
I
really
didn't
watching
know.
Downton Abbey?
Oh yeah.
How'd you get?
It's a
drew
good
you
show.
into it?
I think because everybody kept talking about it and it was free on Netflix. And I was looking for something new.
That
And I was like,
That's fine.
God, this is really good.
And I started watching because
I
Aaron texted me. He's like, "You gotta watch Downton Abbey."
Yeah.
I'm like,
I like.
"All right." Like,
I like period pieces actually. I think period pieces are cool. So just all the amount of work that goes into setting up a period piece, from the clothing to the cars to the buggy. You know what I mean? It's just like that's cool to me. So
Plus, Maggie Smith is awesome.
yeah.
Yes.
Wait, who's that?
That's the old lady.
Oh yeah.
Lady Grantham.
Yeah.
The dowager.
And I just
Yeah,
found a
Dowager
cool
Grantham.
website where I can watch season 2. Keep doing it. I'm not done with it.
Well,
Couch dinner. Okay.
you'll be disappointed for 4.
hey.
Some big changes for 4, but I won't tell you. I'll let you get
For
to
4
3.
Downton Abbey.
What I
I'll
hate
get
is
you
that
3.
on Facebook.
Number 1 season
when,
1.
Well, I'll let you
my
finish.
friends that are watching the shows live
There's
are like,
3 right
"Oh,
now.
so and so dies," and I'm like, "No."
I will tell you what
That's why
happens.
we're talking about Downton Abbey?
Like,
Yes.
Okay.
I can't watch a Sunday night Walking Dead and have to watch it Monday. I avoid Facebook completely.
Yeah.
Same for me and Aaron are
Like
big
Super Bowl
UFC fans.
Yeah.
We're big UFC fans. If we miss the UFC event that night, we no Facebook because I don't want to know who wins.
Yeah, I made that mistake in the Super Bowl last year. You know how people like Facebook, yeah, my team just won, but you know a lot of people DVR it and watch it later. That's what we were doing at my friend's house. We'd fast forward some stuff like halftime, and I found out the score. Like we had, yeah, and I accidentally said it. Which was and then I said, "I'm just kidding," and they're like, "He's not really kidding, or is he?" And, yeah,
Or
I
is
ruined
he?
it. So I can't.
Why is he betting on it?
My phone. Double your wager. But yeah, so I can't look at that stuff either.
Yeah, like, I bet he scores a field goal on this next
10
30
seconds.
seconds.
I heard the commercial.
You watch it?
I don't watch it.
So, Simon, you wrote a book.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Tell us about that.
Softcore porn.
I wish it was as interesting as Game of Thrones. No, I published
50 Shades of Yellow.
Actually, the first book I published is it's basically a marketing and nonprofit book called How to Get Sponsorships and Endorsements, and then I wrote a few essays for a couple of Asian American journals, and right now I'm actually working on a couple of other books for musicians, and one about racism and reappropriation. So.
The first, what led you to write what led you to write the first book?
People kept asking me questions, so I keep a music blog, and I write a bunch of stuff on the music industry, and I kept getting the same questions over and over again, and a lot of them had to do with like how do you get a sponsor and that kind of thing, and so I got sick of answering all these emails, and I was like, maybe if I just write a book and I just make it really cheap and I could direct people to that. So then I wrote a book, and then I put it out last year, I think, and yeah.
So now when people email them, they're like, "Hey, how do we do this?" You're like, "Well, I could tell you, but it's all in my book."
Yeah, like, I mean, I have like half of it free online, so there's a ton of articles on my website. I always say, well, here's a link to everything I've ever written on the subject, and if that's not enough for you, you can buy a book for less than $4, and if you need more help, email me. And so it's helped a lot. I actually just saved that same message, and because I would say I get probably between 500 and 700 emails a week just on that topic alone, and that 99% of the time answers their questions, and then for those that want more, they'll just hire me to consult. So it actually works out pretty well.
For shameless self-promotion, as the last question for me, anybody else, anything? All right, shameless self-promotion, upcoming shows, events, other things that you got coming up that anybody may want to come see if they're not here and able to hear this recording and want to go see you later.
Well, I mean, the best way is probably to check out the Slants.com, because we've got shows all over the country. The biggest ones that are near the Nashville area are going to be Dragon Con and Otakon, so we'll be at both of those. Okay. So we might or might not do San Diego Comic Con again this year, but we'll see.